4. International impact. Ending the Cold War. Gorbachev's reforms also affected Soviet foreign policy. Glasnost and Perestroika led to improved relations with the West. Gorbachev emphasized the need for arms control and cooperation rather than confrontation with the United States. This led to agreements like the INF Treaty, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, in 1987, where both sides agreed to eliminate a class of nuclear weapons. Fall of the Berlin Wall, 1989. One of the most significant outcomes of Gorbachev's policies was the peaceful end of the Cold War. His refusal to use force to suppress uprisings in Eastern Europe helped trigger a wave of democratization. The Berlin Wall fell in November 1989, and within a year, the Soviet bloc was effectively dismantled. 5. Challenges and the collapse of the Soviet Union. Internal resistance. Despite initial enthusiasm, both Glasnost and Perestroika encountered strong resistance from hardline Communist Party members who feared the loss of their power and privileges. Many opposed the reforms as they saw them as a betrayal of Marxist-Leninist principles. Economic decline. While Gorbachev's economic reforms aimed to stimulate the economy, they ultimately caused more harm than good. The shift towards market principles was chaotic and did not yield immediate improvements. The Soviet economy continued to decline, and shortages of basic goods were common. In particular, the agricultural sector struggled, which led to widespread dissatisfaction. Ethnic nationalism and separatism. Glasnost opened the floodgates for ethnic groups within the Soviet Union to express their frustrations and demand greater autonomy. This led to growing nationalist movements, particularly in the Baltic states, Ukraine, and the Caucasus. The desire for independence among these regions contributed to the eventual breakup of the Soviet Union. Coup attempt 1991. In August 1991, a group of hardliners within the Communist Party, unhappy with Gorbachev's reforms, attempted a coup to overthrow him. Although the coup failed, it greatly weakened Gorbachev's power and accelerated the disintegration of the Soviet Union. 6. The end of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union officially dissolved on December 26, 1991, when the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union voted to dissolve the Union and create 15 independent republics. Gorbachev resigned as president, and Boris Yeltsin emerged as the leader of Russia. The end of the Soviet Union marked the end of the Cold War. Conclusion. Perestroika and Glasnost were bold attempts to reform the Soviet system, but they ultimately contributed to the collapse of the Soviet Union. While Gorbachev's intentions were to modernize and strengthen the system, his reforms inadvertently exposed deep flaws and contradictions within Soviet society. The reforms created political space for growing demands for freedom and independence, leading to the downfall of communist rule and the end of the Soviet state. Despite the collapse, Gorbachev's legacy remains mixed. He is seen by many in the West as a hero for ending the Cold War peacefully, while in Russia, he is often criticized for his role in the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Nonetheless, his era marked a period of great change in world history.